Hello Internet, and welcome to the YieldTomato Gaming channel for our Portland Retro Video Game Expo pickups of 2018. This was primarily a year for getting filler for us. We wanted to get things that we had just passed up or overlooked over the years, kind of filling in collection bits for things that haven't yet spiked in a lot of cases, so little things that were of interest to us. But let's start with a couple of loose... God, that's obnoxiously noisy. Loose cartridge games we picked up here. We got Joe and Mac from Data East on the Super Nintendo, and Snowboard Kids 2. Joe and Mac is fun. I mean, it's not my favorite game, but I got a really good deal on it. I had a lot of fun playing those with my friend, so figured pick it up so we can have some good old times again. Snowboard Kids 2, another Atlus title. Atlus makes amazing games in most cases, or at least localizes amazing games in most cases. And my wife was really into Snowboard Kids, so we had to get the sequel. Cat, would you knock that off? I'm sorry, I have a kitten in here and he is playing with everything. Yeah, that's right, you stop. Next, I picked up the first Timesplitters on PlayStation 2, and we also picked up, of all things, an eReader. For those of you unaware, an eReader is a experimental card-based scanning system for the Game Boy Advance, released by Nintendo. And they did a number of different card packs, ranging from Animal Crossing to all kinds of other things that people like, including Pokemon. Pokemon has some eReader stuff too. Art and Cat's wonderful. Okay, moving on. I picked up a couple of 64 games. Growing the N64 collection was one thing I wanted to do. And particularly, I was aiming for in-box stuff, because it's really hard to properly display cart-only N64 games on the shelf, because they don't have a label on top of them. And what I picked up this year was Turok and Turok 2 Seeds of Evil. So, very cool to get these ones. The next one I really want to get for the 64 out of these would be Turok 3, so I can have the 3 single-player Turok games. So remember, Rage War was exclusively multiplayer, which was a weird decision to make. Anyway, so a couple N64 games. Go a little bit less on the retro. We picked up Sorcery Saga and Muv Luv. Muv Luv, I believe, was a Kickstarted game? I think? I don't exactly remember, but it's part dating sim, part mech battle. So my wife and I are kind of half and half on it for that reason. And Sorcery Saga, Curse of the Great Curry God, is a... I don't know what it is, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, but the art style is cute, and my wife really liked that. And it looked like it had a lot to do with crafting food and such, so it kind of reminded her of Atelier, which she's really into. So it made sense to pick it up. And let's continue with handhelds. We also picked up Hoshigami Remix, Monster of the Monsters Lair, and Etrian Odyssey 3. What is there to say? Etrian Odyssey 3 is a dungeon crawler. It's an RPG released by Atlus, another big entry that my wife wanted. She's actually been collecting all these. I don't think she's missing much else other than those for that one. And this is another Atlus game, the Monster of Monsters Lair. And it's a turn-based RPG as well, and I believe it is, at least it looks like that. But the cute art style really drew her attention, and reading up on the back she was interested in picking it up, and it was a good price, so we snagged it. And then Hoshigami is a DS port of a PS1 game we were actually looking for and did not see. So this was a really nice surprise to come across at the show and pick up, because, well, it was on the list but not on the list, so it was a fun little surprise there. Next, we got a combo pack my wife wanted to snag, which is Sega Fun Pack for the PS2. Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic Mega Collection Plus. And then she also got her hands on the last of the Khemia games that she needed, which was Khemia 2, in its big old special box and everything. So we're happy to finish that off on the system. Pretty sure that was the last one we needed for this series. Oh, pretty sure. I'll double check later. And we also got a couple of long box items here. Now, let's see. This will be some good transitions, actually. So this here is D for the Sega Saturn. Not to be confused with Vampire Hunter D. D is a point-and-click adventure series with a lot of horror-related elements. And I like a lot of that. And it's got puzzle solving and stuff in there too, which makes it... I don't know. I like that kind of stuff because of Resident Evil. Resident Evil is one of my favorite game franchises, if you couldn't tell. And this is kind of like a first-person point-and-click Resident Evil game. And D2, I've already got on the Dreamcast, so now I've got the first one on the Saturn. Note, this is also available on the PlayStation 1, but it is much harder to find. And I figured why not keep it on the Sega system since the sequel ended up on the Sega. And then I also picked up another point-and-click adventure, Jurassic Park, for the Sega CD. Now, I wanted this game for a number of reasons, and a big reason for it is because Jurassic Park is one of my favorite films of all time. It is in my top 3 favorite films of all time, just straight up. It's borderline a masterpiece. I've even actually been reading the books lately, which has got me more on a Jurassic Park kick. But it was nice to get my hand on this sucker. Long box is a little bit beat up, but I do have a spare case, so we can get pieces swapped out as we need to for that. And to continue on in that, we picked up also a couple of obscure titles for an obscure machine. And that obscure machine is the Tiger Gamecom. We got Sonic Jam, and we got The Lost World Jurassic Park. Now, the funny thing about this is I didn't know this existed. The only Jurassic Park games I was aware of were the ones for the Super Nintendo and the Genesis. And even then, I didn't even know that Lost World got games, which this isn't the only one. They got games on the Genesis, and... Actually, that might be it, was the Genesis. After doing a little bit more research. I'll look further into it, but the fun little thing about the Gamecom game, at least, is it actually features segments from the book, not just from the movie, which has me super fascinated, really makes me want to play it. The problem is, by the time that I came across this, and by the time we came across this, the guy that was selling them sold all 3 of his Gamecoms that he had brought with him. So now we're kind of on the hunt for a Gamecom, preferably a Gamecom Pocket Pro, because that has backlighting. So that's next up for us to track down. Next, we've got some PlayStation 1 games here, and actually, PlayStation 1 and Dreamcast games. One of these was my wife's, and one of them was mine. This is what we're going to start with here. I finally picked up Castlevania Chronicles, whereas she got Dead or Alive. Castlevania Chronicles is basically an enhanced remake, remastering, retelling of the original Castlevania, and Dead or Alive is a port of the arcade title with additional costumes and such. So that was neat. And I almost forgot that we didn't have this until I spotted it on the showroom floor. It was actually during the free play arcade segment. It wasn't even open for general purchases yet, so that was kind of neat to come across stuff like that. And this I got a good price on too, so I was really excited about it. It was actually the best price on the show floor for it. I got it for less than what he was asking, so I was really excited for that. Now I also picked up Nightmare Creatures and Spyro, Year of the Dragon. Nightmare Creatures is more to go along with my undying love for survival horror related games, and Spyro Year of the Dragon was because I fucking love Spyro. Spyro is an excellent game series. The first 3 games were fantastic, near perfection. So yeah, I kind of want to get all the originals, especially with the remakes coming out, the remake trilogy, if you will. And then I also picked up, after discovering it, odd little title called Juggernaut. I actually need to... Yikes. I need to better secure some of this stuff in here because it likes to pop out. But, pardon me, another example of point-and-click adventure horror. So, glad to add this one to the collection. Case is a little beat up, but I can swap out pieces. I've got spare cases for that same reason there. And next up here, I've got a couple of more Dreamcast games. I've got Illbleed, and then I've got Dino Crisis. Dino Crisis was also released on the PlayStation 1, which I've already got, but I like getting the Dreamcast ports of a lot of Capcom's games because they actually were visually better on the Dreamcast, and played the exact same and just as well as far as I could tell. I'm a huge Capcom fan, so the Resident Evil. And then Illbleed was just one of those really bizarre horror-themed games out there, and the artwork on the back looks freaking great. I don't know how well you can see it, but, I mean, it's one of those things where if you're a horror collector, this is one of those oddball oddities that you should probably get. So I picked it up. And one of the newest games in the collection, I got Culdcept Saga, which is a kind of like a tactics, almost board gamey, turn-based RPG of sorts involving around cards. I didn't pick up the first one on PS2 yet, I don't believe. Pretty sure I didn't. But that's going to be something I got on my way to get later, too. Yeah, just thought this could be a fun game to play. I mean, I like strategy games. I'm usually pretty selective, but there's enough gimmicks going on with this that I felt maybe I could get into this one a little bit easier. Generally, when I do tactics-based games, I lean more towards the science fiction ones as opposed to the medieval ones. And next up here, we've got a number, oh my gosh, of original Xbox games. We're going to go here with Sudeki and Mechassualt. Now, the case on Sudeki has a big old tear right here, but the cover itself is perfectly fine. So I'll just be swapping cases with that one. I love giant robots. This actually goes into I love sci-fi in a general sense. And Sudeki is one of those oddball games that is like an action RPG of sorts, and I believe this is the predecessor to Cameo Elements of Power on the Xbox 360. Again, like, now is a good time to pick up Xbox original games, so that's what I kind of started doing. A lot of these I got for relatively cheap, so it's definitely a good time to start looking, guys. And, I mean, come on, Mechassualt, who doesn't like giant robots? If you say you don't, you're a liar. Let's see. Let's go with these here. I also picked up RLH, Run Like Hell, Run or Be Hunted, and Otogi 2, Immortal Warriors. Now, Otogi 2 here is brand new. There was a guy there that was selling new old stock of all kinds of games, and he was basically just asking $20 for this, so that's like basically what it goes for, complete, just like loose. So I was like, alright, you got it. And this is a horror-themed action shooter, so I figured I'd pick that up too. It looked interesting. I've heard decent things about it, so why not? Let's see here. We'll go with this one. These are oddities. I got Rouge Ops and Mace Griffon Bounty Hunter. Now, I picked up Rouge Ops for the simple fact that it's a stealth espionage, like, infiltrator kind of game. I like those kind of games, and this one looks uniquely colorful, almost Saturday morning cartoony in some elements, but I think it could be interesting. And Mace Griffon Bounty Hunter, I heard, was a halfway decent first-person shooter. Intergalactic bounty hunting and all that. So this was like $1. I mean, I couldn't say no. The case is a little cracked, but I mean, I'm not terribly concerned because this isn't something I'm actively, like, going out of my way to get every piece of memorabilia for. But I figured, why not? It could be a fun time. For $1, are you really going to argue? I mean, I guess you could, but that would make you picky. Or not picky, stingy. Super stingy. Now, here we've got Painkiller Hell Wars. and The Suffering, Ties That Bind. Not a lot to say about this. This is just like shoot the hell out, or shoot the hell, shoot frickin' everything and murder late. And this is kind of that too, but in a prison setting and in third person as opposed to first person. There's a lot of unique and cool creatures in the Suffering series, so I figured I'd start picking those up, because it's kind of a dead franchise that, you know, had some good memories and good elements to it. And now here we've got Tron 2.0 Killer App and Timesplitters Future Perfect. Timesplitters Future Perfect, as was the original Timesplitters, is developed by Free Radical, which is made up of a number of devs from Rare. So that's got a lot going for it. And they're fun first-person shooters. They got good comedy and all kinds of other stuff going on. And Tron 2.0 Killer App, well, Tron's a really good movie. I mean, it's fantastic. And getting a decent video game out of it was just breathtakingly amazing. I think I remember playing bits of this on the PC and having a good time with it. I mean, the art was... the graphics were somewhat simple, but well crafted, so it didn't feel like it was cheap, even though they're simple. So, I mean, these are cheap as well. I mean, a lot of these things you can get for really, really good prices, so I definitely recommend picking them up while you can, before everything starts price hiking and, you know, becomes impossible to do. Next, and actually last for this one, would be Predator Concrete Jungle. Now, I picked this one up because I'd heard a lot of mixed things about it, but one thing I really like is the lore behind it. This game technically sets the precedent for why the Predators are required to blow up all their shit. Basically, you're a Predator who screws up and humans get their hands on your tech. So the idea is you have to find the humans, kill the humans, take all remnants of your technology and destroy it. And from this point on is when the Predators were required to destroy all their equipment upon near death or whatever and all that stuff. So, I mean, there's a lot of cool things, and the Predator's awesome. Go see the new movie. I don't care what anyone says. The newest Predator movie is freaking awesome. And there you have it. Those were our pickups this year at Portland Retro Gaming Expo 2018. If you were there, what did you pick up? If you weren't there, what do you think of these games? Do you have any of these games, and what are your thoughts on them? I'd be interested to know what everyone thinks on these. I'm open to opinions. I watch pickup videos all the time myself to get ideas. You're welcome to share your ideas and thoughts with us. So if you haven't already, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Stay up to date with all of our latest gaming videos, from Let's Plays to pickups, and the occasional review even. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.